Hey guys, welcome back. As I said in my first video, I do offer a service for providing expert personalised feedback to your personal statement. This can be done by dropping me an email. All of the details have been posted below, so make sure you check it out. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hi guys, welcome back. In the last session, we sort of looked at what you want to avoid and what you want to include in your personal statement. And when we were looking at what to include in your personal statement, we sort of highlighted the importance of your personal interests within the field of study. And that's going to be the main topic of this video. So fundamentally, you want to be showing your interest specifically in economics. You want to show what drives you, what attracts you to study it for the next 3 or 4 years, why you deserve a place at university. And the best way to show that you deserve a place at university to study economics is to show you are genuinely interested in the subject. So that's the first point up on the PowerPoint. So to show your genuine interest within the field of the subject field, because they will be getting thousands upon thousands of applications. In fact, this year alone has been the most applications for university in history. So there was 515,000 people going to university in 2020 to 2021. And it just shows that it's getting ever more competitive to get into these top universities. So it's really important that your personal statement excels you above the rest. And if you really want to get into these top universities, you need to show your genuine interest within the field. This video is really going to talk to you and explain how you can do this. So one of the best ways to show your interest is to mention a recent article or a paper, one that isn't too contentious, but is still not well known to show a depth of reading. So a lot of the time people think that they have to read these massive long books. They have to read 10, 15 books and spend weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to read, just so that their personal statement can show a bit of interest in economics. And what I want to tell you guys today is that this isn't necessarily the case. A great way of showing your interest is through academic papers. So for instance, if you started writing your personal statement and got onto the topic of microfinance and realize you haven't got any reading or any further interest, you can simply go onto Google Scholar and type in microfinance and read one of the papers. It doesn't even have to be a paper from this year or this month. It can be one from 5-6 years ago, which is fairly recent in the academic world. Reading these further papers will show, one, that you are genuinely interested and you're going out of your way to find new papers to do further research, but also that you really, really do want to thoroughly understand the topic. But again, it doesn't have to be academic papers. It can also be articles. So it could be from the Times, it could be from The Economist. And when you mention these papers, as we've said in the previous video, it's imperative that you reflect upon them. So you don't want to just say, I read Banerjee et al.'s study on microfinance 2015. So what? You need to reflect on what you've learned from it. You also don't want to fall into the trap of just summarizing what an author has said. So you might have said, oh, Banerjee says that microfinance isn't the ultimate solution. It isn't the miracle that it's claimed to be. Again, so what? That's what Banerjee said, but this is your personal statement. You want to be coming in and saying, okay, I found this interesting, but I went in these direction, and this is my train of thought, and this is my interest. You don't want to just say and repeat other people's ideas. You want to show originality. You want to show that you can have your own thoughts and have your own reflections, because this is ultimately what is going to stand you out above the crowd, out from the crowd. So that's just a bit of advice I can give you guys, just to really reflect upon anything you put in, to show that you have thought about it, you've understood the reading, and you've come up with your own ideas. And yeah, there we go. The next point, reflect on what you've read, offering your own opinions. That just really emphasizes what I just said. Is nothing worse than reading a personal statement where they just copy, well, not copy, but just put down
someone else's argument, because it just shows, okay, yeah, you can read something, yeah, you can copy and paste it, but you haven't reflected on it. You haven't shown what you've learned. You haven't taught me anything new because I could just read that paper. What has made your personal statement stand out? So you really want to reflect and show your own opinions. And yeah, a key thing about your personal statement is it's an application for university. So fundamentally, admissions tutors want to know about why you're passionate for economics, not about your pets and your family members and your bike or your house or where you live. They want to know why you deserve a spot to study economics. And this is the core purpose of any personal statement, to show your passion. So it's important that you sort of avoid rambling on too much about your extracurricular or too much about something that isn't going to drive home and support your application. So now just going to talk a bit about the extra reading. So extra reading is fundamentally reading beyond what you would need for your school studies. So yes, you might be studying A-level economics, and yes, they might set you a textbook to read or an article to read, but this is what you have to do as part of the A-level. It isn't anything above and beyond. And fundamentally, extra reading is going that extra step. It's showing that you've done your research, that you're actually interested in the topic and can write it down on paper. And yeah, the extra reading can really show your particular interest. So a lot of the time people will say, oh, I'm interested in game theory, and then stop there. You really want to make sure when you're going through at any point, you want to develop it as much as you can and say, okay, I'm interested in game theory, so I decided to read this paper. I thought the ideas were good, but I didn't really understand what they were trying to say here, or I thought it could be approached in a different angle, which led me on to this next paper, which shows that I've understood this. And I think fundamentally you want to show that you can have different readings and show that you have a genuine interest in a particular area. Yeah, as we said in the last video, a long list of books is not going to impress. You could look online and search up 10, 15 books and just dump them in your personal statement. But if you're not reflecting on them, if you're not showing that you've understood them, then it's not going to add any value to your personal statement. It's also, yeah, it's important to show you what you've learned from each book and how it's influenced your decision to study your chosen course. So ultimately, a personal statement is almost like a personal journey of what you've done in the recent past, how it's spiked your interest in certain areas, how it's affected your reading, and how this reading has led you to realize, right, economics is for me. I want to study economics. This is my life. This is what I want to do. And the best way to do that is through extra readings. But it's important to remember that's not the only way to show your interest in the subject. So yes, it's good if you can have maybe 5 or 6 different readings or papers, but it's also good if you can bring in other ways to show your passion. I'm just going to go to the other slide. And this is really showing your personal interest. And these can be things such as attending talks. So I know at the moment a lot of talks are cancelled or held virtually instead. So you could go to a virtual talk, or you could go on YouTube, you could watch a TED talk perhaps, to show that you're going further, you're going in your own time to learn more about economics. But again, it doesn't have to be a course or anything. It doesn't have to be like a TED talk or a video conference. It could be a course, for instance. There could be one element of economics that really attracted you, so you've done a course to get a further understanding, whether this is an accounting course, a finance course, or whatever sort of course, which has showed that you want to go the extra mile, you want to learn new skills. So fundamentally, this video was covering showing your passion and further interest in economics. And the core way of doing this is through extra readings, but it's not the only way to do so. So that wraps up this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. In the next video, we're going to be covering why economics specifically. So make sure you guys tune in to enjoy it.